Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the only live Monday through Friday lacrosse talk show on the planet. I am your host, Michael Karvelis, and this is Daily Dive. It is Monday, April 6th, 2026, and this show begins now. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's show. We are streaming live via North American Talk Radio on YouTube. Thank you for subscribing, liking this video, and checking out other great shows and live sports on this channel. On today's awesome episode, we're going to first talk to Pat Gregoire, as myself and Pat will overreact to Week 19's happenings, including a game where the Buffalo Bandits went 3-0 against Vancouver, the two fights, So we'll get to that, and you also stay tuned for Greggy's Grinder and Mike's Lunchbox within that segment. Then we have scheduled Troy from Ottawa. He went to the Rock game this weekend. Cannot wait to see what he thought about the new arena or the renovated arena, and also his take on a team in Oshawa and rooting for the Black Bears. And finally, stay tuned for my 3 stars of the weekend. Before we get started, we want to let you know this show is presented by the NLL merchandise found at natalkradio.us/NLL. Head over to that shop now if you're a United States resident, and you're able to gear up for this year's NLL playoffs. Colorado is in, Buffalo is in, Georgia is in. So many United States teams are clinching playoff spots. You want your team logo shirts to make sure you're representing your team, or they got player stuff on there too. And again, I keep kicking myself because I was about to buy a Georgia Terrence Philadelphia Wings shirt jersey. And when he got traded, now it's gone. So at least that's one thing the NLL is staying on top of, is those limited edition shirts will not be very easy to come by once those guys are traded. I'm upset now. Boy, it's whatever. I missed out. I got the Brandon O'Neill, but the Joe Rez would have been sweet. Oh, it would have been so sweet. Again, folks, thanks for tuning in. Cannot wait for today's show. And now let's bring on a man who, listen, I don't like ankles, but you wear a suit as good as Pat Gregoire did, I can't even hate on it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show now, Pat Gregoire, TSN NLL broadcaster. How are you, sir?
Doing good, Mike. Listen, I knew I was gonna catch some heat for the ankles. It was beautiful in Buffalo, man. Had to let the ankles fly. The blisters on the back of the heel are fighting a little bit for it, but that's the sacrifices you make for fashion.
I'm dead. Yeah, I wonder what sacrifices NBA players make if yours are just blisters. My God. Oh, man. Well, thank you for joining us again, sir. So I decided I'm going to not do a trophy this year because I did tell people that you were back-to-back Fresh Foods champion for media. Mm-hmm. Next year, we're going to do a vote for the top 2 getters. You did win again this week. It took you a while. You gave some weeks there to Jake Elliott and Jake Elliott twice, I think. Yeah. But I think we're going to do a custom shirt for you. I think you'll like it, but we'll be okay though.
Okay, I love it. I love that.
Limited edition shirt.
Listen, I take this very seriously. This is an amazing award, an amazing achievement. It will be hanging up right behind me beside my Borelli Award. So I do appreciate it.
Karvelis and Borelli just handing out awards out there. My God. All right. So we are going to get to that Buffalo game. We're going to get to every game, really. But let's first start off in Denver, where the Colorado Mammoth defeat the Desert Dogs in a season-high reported attendance of 10,594. Mammoth did finish their season 7-2 at home. They beat the Desert Dogs 13-8. This game was tied at half, 5-5. Even the final score, I don't know if you saw it, but that game was not way closer than 13-8. Alex Bouquet, big part of that, 40 saves. Dylan Ward also had 43 saves. Those two were spectacular. Will Malcolm, though, 5 goals, not too shabby. Good stuff for him. So the question here is, this might be risky because of where you just came from, where you might have to go back to. So answer carefully. I'm safe over here. Does Colorado have the best home field advantage for this season's NLL playoffs? I know.
Listen, Mike, I love the Loud House. It's electric. It's one of my favorite buildings to be in. And the Mammoth are 7-2 at Ball Arena this year. They desperately want to get that number 1 seed to gain home floor advantage throughout the entire playoffs. Yeah. But it's a hard.
Oh.
Heck, have you not watched?
Okay, so you say it's a hard something and the Polar Bears got you again.
It's a hard no, because it is the Bandits. It's the Bandits lands that holds that title. Look at what they've done the last 3 seasons, the last 5 seasons with home floor advantage. They have not lost a home playoff game since game 3 of the NLL Cups against the Mammoth back in 2022. So since then, 11 straight home playoff games. They're 24-4 in the month of April and May during that 3-peat run. And of those losses, of those 4 losses, not a single one have come on home floor. Springtime is winning time in Buffalo. And when they're at home, when they have home floor, they do it better than no one else. I'm sorry, Colorado, but this title remains with Buffalo.
I disagree. For this season, and you know I would when I'm the one who poses the question. You can hear I'm good, right?
Oh, of course.
Okay, I'm making sure. I have a stat for people that they don't want to hear. Like, forget the fact that Baby Shark, they score every time Baby Shark plays, all right? But while the Colorado Mammoth were getting their season high in attendance, Buffalo, for the 4th time this year, went under 18,000. I know it's still almost twice as much, but that was a big game. That was a big game. And I want to know where the other people are at, because not like the Sabres were in town. Okay, so that's obviously, that was all like tongue in cheek. That's obviously a fake.
Of course.
So thank you for that. I thought I would buy this really in just a little bit, and whatever.
I'm not buying it. I'm not fighting.
That's right. I do think, even like if it's a small barn, like look at Vegas, like they get electric. Is there something to say for their? I know Buffalo might because they have the most people. Is it different when you're a player though, and like it's still just loud and it's against you, or does it matter when there's 18,000 versus 12? I don't know.
Well, I think it's definitely strength in numbers, Mike. But I mean, you bring up a good point though. Like with a building like Halifax, it's a smaller building, but it's packed to the gills, and it is really loud. It's got that low roof. So yes, that is a home floor advantage. Ball Arena, great numbers, a big arena though. I don't know. For me though, they do play really well at home, and especially this year, like I mentioned,
incredible.
7-2 record. So I see what you mean by this season. Listen, you bring up great points, and I think the Mammoth probably are sitting at number 2 when it comes to the home floor advantage. But for me, you're not going to convince me. Buffalo, Banditland, springtime, March to May, you name it. That's where they cut their teeth.
That was a cute question, though. I don't think we give the Cronkies enough credit for, I want to say allowing, but like letting Mammoth in that building, because that is. Don't the Avalanche and the Nuggets both play there? So like, it's not like this is like some one-off building. Like this is like Buffalo. If you're a sport there, you're going to play there. And I know like Kroenke might be a hands-off owner, but I still enjoy it. That's kind of cool. Well, they get to be there. I think it helps.
Yeah, it does. And they are pretty ingrained with the Denver community, with the Denver sports community as well. And I mean, think about it. Well, I talked about the last time Buffalo lost that home playoff game. It was when it was the Mammoth winning that championship back in 22.
Yep.
They split the parade with the Denver Nuggets. Like they had a float. Like they do certainly take care of their players. Kroenke Sports Entertainment do a great job making sure that they also, of course, I mean, are the Avalanche and the Nuggets going to get the better dates? No
Sure.
doubt about it. But they still make sure that they are getting
Well-fed.
taken care of, well fed. That's a good way to say it as well. And are their numbers as crazy as they once were, Mike? Absolutely not. But we're living in a different era post-COVID where just things are different for a lot of folks.
Right.
And if you're in that building, you hear it, you feel it, you see it. The fan base is still rabid. The fan base is still hungry and energetic. So I want this to be abundantly clear. If there are any Mammoth fans watching, this is not a knock against the Mammoth.
No.
This is more of a nod to what the Bandits have been able to do in the postseason with home floor advantage.
It's also my fault. Shout out to Kiera. I think her name is Kiera. I think that's how you pronounce it. She's one of the coolest, loudest sports fans from that support all the Colorado teams, including the Mammoth. That's pretty cool. And another thing, I like the cross promotion. That's the last thing I'll say about it is I think when the Avalanche beat the Mammoth, beat the Utah Mammoth this year, they took a shot, and it was like the fact that they are communicating and they understand it. It shows us Kroenke has to be doing something to help out, which I do enjoy a lot. So,
yeah, that was awesome.
And great job for Vegas for handling this game, for the record. Halifax Thunderbirds defeat the Rochester Nighthawks. Now, this is not a shot at the attendance. This is a fact of the season. It was their first game under 10,000. They still had 9,800. The Thunderbirds have been great this year, and they got a big win, 15-10. Another game that seemed closer than it was with the final score. Halifax improves to 7-9. Rochester drops to 6-9. That ninth loss for Rochester is way worse than Halifax's ninth loss, it looks like. Clark Pearson had a hat trick. Jason Knox had an early hat trick. Jake Withers was, holy cow, dude. For a 100th game in Halifax, that was amazing. Or 100 game play for Halifax. Warren Hill, 42 more saves. Now, before we get to the game, I have to explain this question here, okay? It's called Hey, Doctor Strange. You're like, who is Doctor Strange? You're not asking that. But in case you are, it's based on the Marvel hero who can see all these possibilities. And so while there may be real mathematical things like, hey, the Thunderbirds have a 5% chance or whatever to make the playoffs, the person answering should say what they would think if they were Doctor Strange. So, hey, Doctor Strange, do you see a future where Halifax is in the playoffs?
Yes, I do. I do see a future. And is it going to be easy? No, it's going to be a tough road. But is it possible? Absolutely. And does a victory this weekend have to come for them to get there? No, but it would certainly make things easier. The only issue is they're going all the way out to the West Coast to take on a Vancouver team who just got embarrassed against the Buffalo Bandits, and they are going to be frothing at the mouth to get back on track. They're going to be hearing it all week long during film and in practice. And Kurt Belowski is going to make sure that those guys are ready. But like I said, a loss really doesn't nuke their playoff chances.
Crazy.
What it might come down to, Mike, is a date against Jeff Teat and the Black Bears could possibly be a win and you're in situation. And I think the Thunderbirds can do it. They have had a ton of success against the Black Bears and the Riptide. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they've ever lost to that organization before. The win against Rochester was the first step, and in my opinion, it was the biggest step. They couldn't have lost that game. Now, all of a sudden, and Graham Perro, check his tweet out on Sunday, I think he threw it out. All of a sudden, they have 42.3% chance of getting into the postseason. That's only 15 less than Las Vegas. And I think Ottawa is looking at somewhere around a 62%. I imagine if Ottawa loses to Toronto this week, that's going to come down even more. Something tells me the last game of the year, Mike, between these two teams is going to be the path to victory for Halifax to get in.
Thunderbirds, I just looked it up, are 7-0 via Graham Perro's website, ironically. 7-0 against the Riptide, 3-0 against the Black Bears, 10-0 against whatever you want to call this thing. Against GF. I don't like saying that name out loud. Anyways, I love that answer for you. Folks, sometimes when I do message Pat about certain topics, I kind of knew his answer for that one, so I'm not blown away. But my answer is the same. However, I do want to mention that in this game, Graham Hossack, Jake Withers, and I believe Ryan Terfico all scored. I think Pete Dalladay said it. You know, if I had two of those guys scoring, it'd be a great bingo card. But three of them, that's like it doesn't make any sense. Including two from Withers, like I said before. Also, Hutchcraft was not great. I believe he got a long leash. Warren Hill, to me, was the standout, and the team defense too. But he was the standout. Obviously, I think they're going to lose at Vancouver. Kermalowski did once again take the blame in the presser. Good for him, because he doesn't think, he said maybe it was the game plan. I just didn't have him ready for Buffalo. Good problem to have now, for the record.
Yeah.
But here's the I'm at like a 30, almost like a 50-50 yes here, because I don't know who I trust more. The Black Bears with their team chemistry and their locked-in mentality, or what I've seen from Halifax for the past, ever since they traded Dawson Theed, or even right before that, they have been locked in. Now, there was a few penalties I think they even want back in this game, but when they're not committing penalties, their defense, no one's getting through. I thought Rochester on both sides of the ball looked great. I think they cut well. I think they passed well. It didn't matter. I felt sorry because I thought, who was that? The defensive coordinator, the Merst is not Merst. Who was it?
Bobby Keast.
Keast. So Keast, I believe, had that defense playing great. The offense was clicking. They looked a full 60, and they couldn't crack Warren Hill in the defense. So in my head says Halifax. My heart, because of Dan McCray's Black Bears, says Ottawa. That's where I'm at. And at that point, I'm 50-50. So there you go.
Listen, the thing is, Mike, and another thing that I think a lot of people are talking about as well is 5 one-goal losses for Halifax this year. 5. And 2 of them during this last stretch, 14-13 to Toronto in overtime. And then, of course, that insane game where the comeback just fell short. So, again, hypotheticals, if, ands, or buts, you know what about that? But you think if 1 or 2 flip the other way, this is a team that's probably sitting pretty comfortably in a playoff spot.
At a 1 seed almost, by the way it looks.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're not going to flip all 5 of those one-loss games. I mean, that's lacrosse. That's, yeah.
Well, it's the NFL. It happens, which is why I love the sport. I compare it all the time. I want to show you this now, because it is like I have this thing on social media. I'm sure you've seen it this morning. The fight, like what's the better fight? 5 teams or 6 teams doing this right here, which seems impossible. Like, this is like everything unified standing should be. It's happening this year because there's no one to runaway train right now. And then the last 2 playoff spots, 3 of those teams are out of it. And Rochester, San Diego, probably. But that to me is so crazy. I just want to show the Michigan Halifax is right there too. It's unbelievable.
It really is. It is.
Who win? What fight is better for you, sir?
It's tough, and I think maybe I might have voted differently on social media than what my answer is. But I think it's the top fight. I really do, because I think the difference between being a top 3 seed, or heck, even a 4 seed, to being that 6 seed, it really, really can set you up for success if you can get that home playoff game and avoid having to play a Buffalo or a Georgia, or whoever else maybe trickles down there. So I don't know. Normally, I would say what's more intense and what's more pressure packed is to get into the dance. But listen, Mike, and this is not a knock against any of those teams at the bottom that are fighting right now. You're going to fight for your playoff lives, and then you're probably, you've got a date with destiny with a one gamer against one of these top teams. You're banking on
pulling a mammoth against the Seals. Like, that's your hope.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Which is a lot better. Ask the NC, ask March Madness how that can play out. Then this year it's all chalk, which is why me and you look great right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why an 8th grader could guess and get it right this year.
Absolutely.
Anyways, my thing is, it also helps our franchise success. Like, if you tell the Georgia Swarm they can have a home playoff game in Duluth, bro, Bro, I'm bringing a bus to Duluth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, we're all like, Georgia will know, and I'm going to do my part to make sure. Same thing with all the other teams. Like, there's no way like Toronto, Georgia, Buffalo at this point in the season should have had this chance unless it all plays. It's incredible. I love the unified standings.
It's the best.
It's a great investment, which I know it hurts them right now. All right, next up.
It is.
Yeah. Toronto Rock. Listen, man. Good thing Troy's going to help us out with this one because there's not a lot going on here. 7-5, Rock get the win. Their second highest attendance this year at 78, almost 7,900. Toronto improves to 10-6. San Diego drops to 6-9. They might be done even they're still alive. The game-winning Rock goal, if people are interested in that stat, was with 6.5 minutes left in the second quarter. That's almost like the Buffalo game. Nick Rose had to make 38 saves, and his team put 28 shots on nets. And I know like the people in Denver who counted that Andrew Q assist would have maybe given him more than that. It's interesting. That's crazy, dude. 28 shots on goal and a win. Obviously, you score 7 goals, but that's got to be some kind of a record. So Toronto has to go to Ottawa and then go to Saskatchewan. They could win both those games. They could lose both those games. What do you want to see from them to make you, I don't want to say buy back in, but just buy the fact that they're one of the 5 or 6 that can win the championship?
This is kind of twofold for me, and there's a surface level answer to it, and then peeling back the onion and seeing more. The surface level for me, it's a minimum split. Beat Ottawa this weekend, you get to 12 wins, but if you can get up to 13, you beat Saskatchewan, you probably have the tiebreaker with them. Now all of a sudden you're in that top 4, you get a more favorable matchup, and then likely you're going to get some more home games. Hopefully, maybe in round 2. You get the best 2 out of 3 in that finals. Maybe now you're facing the higher team and then you lose home floor advantage. But that's kind of surface level, what I think needs to happen for me to buy in. 2-0, okay, for sure. But beyond that, Mike, like let's really sink our teeth in here. I need to see more from the offense. I need to see a much better consistent effort to what we were seeing, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. Yeah. The last 2 weeks have been less than inspiring. This offense has been held to single digits. Mark Matthews the last 2 weeks hasn't looked like himself. He's looked like the mailman of last year before they said, all right, listen, dude, we're shutting you down. You're getting surgery. And I'm hoping it is not lingering injuries or anything like that, because that could be catastrophic for this offense. We know defenses and goaltenders win championships, Mike, and we know the Toronto Rock have that. But to win a championship in the NLL, you still need that offensive pop. You still need depth. You need your offense to win in different ways. You need that. You need to be more dynamic, and I haven't seen enough dynamic offense in the last 2 weeks. So these next 2 games, sure, the result is great. For me, though, I'm more interested in the process of how those 2 teams go for the offense.
It is amazing how many times we write down the same answers, but it's also amazing how many times we take different avenues to get there. So I think it is the offense, but I wrote down, I think they're missing variety. This team.
That's a great point.
Perfect transition. Almost perfect defense and goaltending. And when I watch this team, they almost have the same player across the board. It's like before, you could trust a Josh Dowlick to make an outside shot. Mark Matthews doesn't score anymore, apparently. And I'm looking at them like they're all just crasher and bangers, which I think is good to have a few of. But if all of their primary goal is to cut inside or collect the pass from doing so, then you don't even have to worry about the outside shot. I'm not saying those guys can't shoot, but for some reason, I think there was Paul Dawson, or no, Dan Dawson. I think Dan Dawson has to figure out how to get the outside shot going. Crashing and banging works, but if you're not going to open up your outside shot, then what's it for? And Challen Rogers, that's what he does. CJ Kurtz can do it all, but it's they're all doing the same thing. maybe Josh Dow just needs to find a shot again. But someone on this team needs to stretch the defense like a Curtis Dixon or a Josh Byrne, because that'll be perfect. But yeah, the offense. That's what I wrote. Yeah.
It's a great point, Mike. And I think a lot of people, when you think of the Toronto Rock over the years, and I'm talking not just last year, but for a very long time, they've been a perimeter team, a team that lives and dies from the outside shot. So what Dan Dawson's really tried to do is get them to be more of an inside team, work from the inside out. It's worked, but sometimes you do have to go back to the outside shot. Like you said, all your hard work on the inside frees up the space and allows.
It doesn't work. It doesn't pay off completely if you don't shoot it from the outside.
You need that threat from the outside. It's like, I mean, going back to March Madness, we've seen teams that can't shoot the 3-ball and teams will just give up that shot, right? Yeah. We know Toronto's got the 3-ball. They've got Dawick. They've got Kurst. They've got Hiltz. When Chris Boucher isn't scoring from, flying in the air, he could shoot the ball.
Yes, I was going to say
Rogers could. But you're right. It seems like a lot of emphasis on the inside game. Again, maybe it's that balance. Maybe it's the variety. Right. It's either all in on the outside shot, all in on the inside play. How about mix it up and find that balance?
It feels like, and I don't want them to become predictable, but if every game they change up who's the crasher and banger, and then that way you can trust, like, hey, we're going to need like Josh or Challen. One of you guys' outside shot has to fall because we're going to set you up for that moment. But they have to switch it up every game to like keep them guessing. But like someone, I feel like it's almost like a Vancouver thing. They're being too unselfish. Like one of y'all has to stay out here and be selfish for minutes.
Yeah. It's a great observation.
All right, so I got to do this here. The fact the stove works great on this graphic with the colors just makes me happy. But folks, CJ Kurst has 33 goals this year. It's the 22nd rookie to have 33. Owen Hill is about to have 33 as well, for the record. CJ Kurst though, they started tracking cost turnovers in 2011. And CJ Kurst is the second rookie to have 30 goals and 10 cost turnovers. The other guy is a guy named the best player in Ottawa, Jeff Tate. That's foreshadowing. He gave me he saw it. Okay, I just want to mention that. All right, next up, wow, it's the ankles game. I'm kidding. The Buffalo Bandits beat the Vancouver Warriors 15-5 in front of attendance that will not be reported on the show. Kidding, it was 17,350, not bad. Buffalo improved to 10-6. Vancouver dropped to 11-5. Vancouver actually finished 7-2 on the road for what it's worth. Like they're no slouch. Just why do they have these kind of like Toronto? Why do you have this kind of game? So I'm going to use this. The Bandits snapped their fingers. Anyways, Josh Byrne had 4 goals. Joe Rez, I don't want to say screw you, Joe Rez, because I like the guy. Push my points total, dude. Just give me a loss, dude. I just want a loss. Yeah. Don't do that. What am I, Pat Gregoire? Mitch the Snoo had 3 more blocks and 11 loose balls. He was nasty. You like beer?
I love beer.
Steve Perillo hates beer. That was good. Classic brew there. And Nick Weiss, I believe he won that. I didn't see the Nick Weiss fight, but I'm assuming by the reaction he beat up Owen Grant, right?
It was a pretty fair fight, I'd say. But I mean, Weiss is significantly smaller than Grant.
Owen Grant's a Swiss Army knife in a lot of ways. And Matt, I don't like the fact that Matt Beers moved into the second alternate penalty minutes because Paul Dawson, dude, you're right there, bro. But you want to rub it in? Get more penalty minutes than Matt Beers.
Well, absolutely.
Earlier, Foxy says Priola versus Beers was an old school heated fight. I do like these more than like the random ones. I think these matter more. And I think like you fire up the old fan base, and also at the same time bring in the new one. So I actually like that point a lot. Utica Yeti says Dan Stevens is back. But yeah. So we're doing something that I've tried not to steal from First Things First. I'm going to do it now, though. Title pie. How much percentage of the championship dessert goes to Buffalo right now? And bonus points if you can name the other team's percentages.
Okay, so you might need the calculator here. I tried to put all things together.
iPhone has everything.
Okay, perfect. So we're gonna start and Buffalo. Listen, they got the biggest piece right now. I know they're not sitting in first, but I'm gonna give them 27.8%.
Oh, that's brutal. That's not even fair. I'm gonna put this on a banner while you're doing this too. All right, Buffalo is 27.8. Got you.
All right. Next up, Vancouver and Saskatchewan. They're gonna split a share of the pie at 16.7. Both of them. I
feel like Pat Gregoire did not think about this. He's just like, let's just throw it out there.
No, buddy, I can send it to you. I've got a chart that I'm looking at with the numbers here. Okay.
So they're going to combine 16.7, right?
No, both of them each have 16.7.
We'll change that real quick for you, sir. Go ahead.
Colorado, 13.3%.
Wow. I thought I was good, but you were blowing me out the water here, pal.
I'm sorry. I really had fun with this.
You're at nerd. You're at 74.5. So
okay, hopefully this math works out. If not, the app that I used is I'm done.
Yes.
Toronto, 11.1%.
Oh. I thought those were like a power 3 number you recently played.
Not a winner, though. Georgia, 8.89%.
Oh, that's just mean.
Well, it's about to get meaner.
The 0.09 was for people like me in Georgia.
And doesn't matter who else is there. Whoever finishes 7-8, whatever, they can get 5.56% left.
I knew you were going to make that mistake. You were supposed to be 5.51, not 5.56.
Oh. I told you the app is on the jackpot now.
So what app was that? So the viewers can be aware.
It was like you just go to Google and type in pie chart.
You have an iPhone, right?
Sorry, it wasn't an app. It was a website.
Oh, you like the visuals. You're not as much of a nerd as I thought you were. Okay.
Oh God, no, not a numbers guy. No way. But yeah, so that's kind of how it's cooking. Buffalo with the biggest piece. Vancouver, I think Vancouver would have had a much bigger piece of that pie. But after they got a little bit of humble pie, I think, in last game. So that's why
that's awesome. I like that. I'm surprised I didn't think of that last night. All right, so mine.
Let's hear yours. A
little bit easier. 60% Buffalo.
Whew.
I went over 50 because I do think push come to shove in a 3-game series. I'm taking Buffalo 8 times out of 10. Well, obviously 6 times out of 10, but it feels like 8 in my head. I'm splitting 30%, so 15 each for Saskatchewan and Vancouver.
Okay.
So I believe I'm looking at
We're pretty close there. We're pretty close.
Yes, we are. It's the fact we both split them shows you that we both are kind of disappointed in both. 5% to Toronto or Colorado. I forgot why we're down like that. And 5% to the final 3 seeds.
Okay. I don't hate it.
I think like 5% total to those combined like bottom feeders.
Okay.
Bottom, you got in. Good job, Halifax. You're out in the week anyways.
Yeah, it's hey, listen, bold with Buffalo at 60, but hey, you know what? That's hard to argue, man. It's hard to argue. They looked unbelievable.
I don't think that's how that goes, but you know.
This is 60% of the time, it works every time.
Right. So this is like overreaction. So like I don't have to be right on the show, but I have to be like
of course not.
Right.
No, absolutely not. You're
totally
right.
Clip it and shove it in your face. They already knew.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about.
I mean, they've never been more back. Like, just talk about them for a minute, and then we'll get to our final game. It doesn't matter.
It was clinical. It was surgical. It was unbelievable. And listen, I'll tell you this. A part of me at some points in that game was like, okay, like, just hand the trophy over to the Buffalo Bandits now. Like, why do we bother playing the rest of their regular season? Why do we bother playing the rest of the playoffs? That's just how good they were on offense, how good they were on defense, and Matt Vince just continuing to laugh in the face of Father Time. With that being said, though, for as good as a game as it was for the Buffalo Bandits, it was just as bad as a game for Vancouver. And I'm not going to take anything away from Buffalo, but Vancouver looked as bad as a Kurt Malosky team I have ever seen. They did not look prepared. They looked shell-shocked after the second quarter. Like, they came out, looked good, pace was fine. But as soon as a couple of adjustments on the back end especially happened, Vancouver had no response. They had nothing. The defense could not push transition. Buffalo suffocated them like an anaconda. It was clinical. The defense looked slow. Del Bianco, I thought, honestly, if it wasn't for him, this could have been, a 30 spot, a 25 spot for Buffalo. I'm being serious. He stood on his head for as long as he could. But you also can't take this away from Buffalo, man. Buffalo's offense is clicking. Joe Rez came to life. Josh Byrne is looking healthy. His shot is sinking from the outside. The cast of characters and the depth are coming up in big moments. And I think the big thing for me that kind of showed that, all right, this team is where they were. It's kind of what like Foxy was talking about. It's the response, the reply. When things started getting rough, it's the leaders who are stepping up and dropping the gloves. Priolo and Beers, like that used to be a normal fight, 5, 6, 7 years ago. 31 years combined in the National Lacrosse League between those two guys, and they throw down. And like I said, Nick Weiss fighting Owen Grant, a guy that's probably almost half a foot taller than him. It was just the fight, the passion, the clinical execution. This Bandits team is on a warpath, man. This is overreaction, so I'll say it. I mean, they should be the odds-on favorites right now to win the NLL Cup. They can't afford to drop one maybe the rest of the way in the regular season because I think getting home floor advantage is going to be so important.
I think for them, yes.
But even if they do end up as a 5 seed, I still have faith with them. But if they are able to secure home floor for at least the opening game in round 2, I don't see how they don't at least make the final. I really don't.
I had a I can't remember if this was like an overreaction thing or not, but I pretty much said that I think Buffalo's going to make the finals. And at the time, the standings were not looking great, and I'm like, something was like, I still trust it though. Like, of all these teams, I thought I could trust Saskatchewan. I couldn't. I mean, Buffalo, I can trust them. That, like you said, come Easter, like once Jesus is raised up, he gives his to the Buffalo Bandits. I'm just saying, like, it's God's team, man, and it makes sense that they always make it work at this time, bro. Like, it's unbelievable, and it's tough because this is why, and I'm not like going to harp on Vancouver too much, but even though I do want to give credit to Buffalo, like Vancouver, when people like me pick them to win it all, even if they didn't say it out loud, I said it out loud. Subconsciously, I'm like, okay, but like in game, can their guys figure it out? Because I don't have a problem with Buffalo or even Saskatchewan's chemistry, but I don't see Vancouver coming back in these games. Like the Rush walked them down, and I know like the Rush, like that feels like forever ago, but I'm more convinced that Buffalo and Saskatchewan can both be down and both be up and still finish the job. Vancouver's like, dude, like, I don't need to worry about Malosky. I'm freaking Curtis Dixon. You're Keegan Ball. You're Jesse King. You're like, there's too much on this team to act like it feels like Buffalo could sweep them in 2 close games. And I don't think any of us would be surprised. Because that's just like Buffalo's chemistry is off the charts. And I think seasons that keep on dragging out, like the Chiefs, now we haven't gotten to the Chiefs part of it yet because they didn't capitalize, even though the Bandits did capitalize. The Bandits are the 4th leg of this whole run. And until they fall flat on their face completely dead, they're still out there. It's kind of like, speaking of the Avengers, there have been a lot of superhero references on the show. It's funny because, like, half the population got wiped out, but like we still got Iron Man, we still got other people on the team. Like they're not done, dude. I still think
they're not.
It's crazy that we thought Chase Fraser and Kluche were a bigger loss than they were. It still didn't matter in the end. It's crazy.
It is. It really is. And just to one more thing on that note on the Vancouver side, that to me was the most damning thing. I think was the fact that we were waiting, and I don't want to like we were waiting for a night where, in a big moment, Dixon or King steps up and takes over because Ball was garnering so much attention, and it just didn't happen. Dixon was invisible. King couldn't hit the net to save his life.
You're waiting for the Cody Jamieson moment for him. Like,
yeah,
be the leader.
Yeah, and it didn't happen, and I get it. It's one game. It's hard not to overreact, though. It really is. I feel bad for Halifax, for as good as they must be feeling. Like, Vancouver is going to throw the kitchen sink at them, and I think it could be a massive explosion. We'll see what happens, though, because, I mean, Halifax is playing really damn good as well. I think that's going to be a fantastic game.
This feels like the Lakers' 30-point loss to the Thunder. Like, you think you're a contender, and the other team that was a champion before, like, says, you wish you were. So, all right, let's move on to the final game just quickly here. Firewolves beat the Roughnecks 10-9. Oshawa did improve to 5-11. Calgary dropped to 4-12. Firewolves actually finished 2-7 on the road. That's not a flex, it's the truth. They're 3-1 in their last four, even though they beat the teams above them and below them, like right there, like 12-14. Simmons and Kurtz, hat trick each. Tanner Cook, breaking. Did you know second most goals in the NLL? I don't think anyone's talked about that. Aiden Walsh, Dougie both look good, but here's what it is. First of a back-to-back. Real quick, which of these teams do you think is more likely to bounce back and make the playoffs or be a contender next season?
Listen, on paper, I think I like this Oshawa team better. When you look at, Simmons and Kurtz, what they've established over the last couple of years, Dawson Thie really fits in nicely. I thought Dice Williams had a good game until he got hurt. The defense, a lot of the athletes, a lot of great guys on that back end. Doug Jamieson, great goaltender, but the proof is out that I don't think this is working for them. I think there needs to be major change, and I'm not talking about coaching or management change. I think something's got to change on that offense, and I think some things they actually need to change on the back end too. I talked about it on OTCB this week. I thought, previously the week before against Rochester that they got just manhandled. They got pushed around badly. Yep. And I haven't seen this group get pushed around quite like that. Offensively, we've talked about it all season long, maybe just too much of the same. I think one of the big guys got to go. I think one of those big guys have to go. It's got to be Simmons, Kurtz, some sort of trade at the top has to happen. So in theory, based upon that, I think it's Calgary. I think Calgary has looked better as the season has gone on. I think they have, you mentioned it, Tanner Cook is a guy that you can build around. Tyler Pace, from all reports, seems like he has a new mindset and he is committed to this Roughnecks team. Aiden Walsh has looked great in between the pipes. The defense, while I think they need to make some improvements on the back end, they have gotten a lot better. Yeah. I think the foundation, which is crazy to say, considering this Oshawa team 2 seasons ago was in the NL Finals, I like the foundation that Calgary's laying better than what we're seeing out of this Oshawa team, even though, quote unquote, on paper, might be better in Oshawa.
I'm starting to get scared that the paper for Oshawa is just not even that good. Like, I'm not sure what to think. And I think the Firewolves, I think they're going to keep Glenn Clark. I think they should get rid of one of the big three or find something that works. I don't think they will. Now, there is rumors that one day there's going to be an open season on Doug Jamieson for whoever team wants him. The way you counteract that is win some freaking games, though.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't. they have not gotten better. Like Dyson Williams was the missing piece. And I'm not blaming Dyson, I'm just saying the fact we went from missing piece to WTF happened is insane to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2 years of never figuring it out. And I don't think a coach goes in there and just figures it out. I don't think that's that simple, like you said. It would be a great step, but like, man, get out of here with that crap. I'm the same way. I think Calgary, I think they've been sneakily competitive all year. I think that the fact they may not finish with 6 wins or not going to finish with 6 wins is a shame because I thought they've shown way more fight than that. And it's crazy to me because I think their roster is actually not even that bad when you look at it. So
completely agree. Listen, Mike, and here you want to talk about being competitive all season long. Let's just go through the goal differentials in those losses real quick. Start with the first game of the year against Saskatchewan, 3, 1 against Toronto. Okay, not great, but 6 against Buffalo. Overtime loss against Vancouver. Well, we won't talk about the unboxed game. 6 against the Rush, 2 against Ottawa, 5 against Georgia, 4 against Halifax. And then in the last stretch here, 2 against Colorado, overtime against Las Vegas, and 1 against Oshawa.
And they were in some of those bigger losses too. They were in those games.
Yeah, they seem like they're always in the fight. Always in the fight, with the exception of for that unboxed game.
Yep.
They're always in the fight. And
Correct.
I think there is a lot more that you can build upon for the future. Whereas Oshawa, you're like, how do we mix this up? How do we change this? Whereas Calgary, like, what do we need to add on top of this roster?
Correct. Love that. You also love? Very quick. All right, so we got some Greggy's nice lunchbox to get to. We got 2 more of these after today, so it's gonna be fun. Greggy's Grinder. How many honorable mentions do you have?
I got 3, so I can rip through them really quickly. Jordan Gillies of the Colorado Mammoth, and if you're not familiar with this game, go to Brad Challoner's Twitter page. He clipped a great play, kind of showing the type of grinder that he is. He's on the penalty kill for the Mammoth. He fights through 2 picks, somehow gets through both, tracks back to the middle, sloughs in, and is able to knock down the pass and knock over the guy in the middle of the floor, dislodges the pass, and causes the turnover. So, Jordan Gillies is a guy that, he has a supremely underrated defender. My next one, Brad Cree. Big reason why the Seals put a small number up on the board, and a guy that doesn't really get the praise that I think he deserves. He'll be high on my ballot as a defender of the year. 1 assist, 8 loose balls, 2 caused turnovers, and a block. And I like pointing these things out as well. At the end of the game, Latrell Harris handed over the jacket to Brad Cree as the player of the game. So game recognizes game. And then my last nominee, I had a hard time with this one, not because I didn't know who to pick, because of who deserves it. I didn't know who to pick because it was too hard to narrow it down. So I'm going to go the entire Buffalo defense. 13 block shots, forced Vancouver for more shots off target than on target. 12 caused turnovers. They stuck up for each other when Vancouver tried to mix things up. They dropped the gloves. And there were way too many outstanding performances just to point out one. So I'm going to give it to the entire unit for Buffalo for stymieing that electrifying Vancouver offense. And last, but certainly not least, the Wiz, Jake Withers. Video game numbers from him. 2 goals, 4 assists, 5 points, 12 loose balls, a caused turnover, 2 blocks, and for good measure, 64.3% at the face-off dot. And if you needed anything more beside those numbers, he also passed the eye test. It's crazy to say this too, Mike. This is his first goal of the year. How has this guy not found the back of the net? Hearing Mackie and Pete talk about it, it was like they were even surprised, even though they knew it was. It felt weird that it was his first goal, but that was like a heart and soul, drag a team in the fight. You talk about leadership, Mike. That performance right there is a reason why I think, although it's a slim chance that Halifax can get in, it's because of guys like Withers, who's going to drag that team into the fight.
One of them said it was poetic because he scored 10 seconds into their first game in Halifax history, and then like he opens this one, has chill. It's unbelievable stuff by him.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those players who's like, how are you? Like, when does he get tired? Like, is Gatorade your thing? It has to be.
He doesn't get tired, man.
All right, so like inflation sucks,
Oh yeah.
Like I feel like years ago, this would have like a lot of money.
$6 million man. I love it.
$6 billion man. I don't even know what that show's about. It might even be about money. There a thermos? I don't think there is. Whatever. Screw these. I'm tired of these thermoses. I think they're literally. I'm telling you, they're sitting on the shelves. All right.
It's lunchbox segment, anyways. You're good.
Sure. My two honorable mentions go. One of them is actually to Bandit Land, but not the entire Bandit Land. Like there seems to be a 17,000 crew that's been showing up. So I want to shout to those people because I think you had a great tweet where it was like Sabres and Bandits both clinched on the same day. It's a bad day to be like a can of beer on what street or whatever?
Chippewa Street, yeah.
Oh God, you're crazy. Great tweet by you, sir. But I think that it was a heavyweight battle. I wish there was a sellout. And again, this is obviously a high standard, but also kind of a joke. But like, come on, folks. Like, pack the barn. Like the 17,000 that have been there, I applaud you. Tell your friends. Tell them to tell their friends, Go 4 people. It's almost like it's boring at this point. I know we could get to this point, but it is. I'm like, no, I'll see them next week when they make the final. So go to hell.
Must be nice.
It's not fair when guys like this get it because, yeah, his team won. Yeah, he's really awesome. Yeah, people think I call him a coward just because he acts like he won one play. I'm still going to give love to Dylan Ward. You saw the video. Dylan Ward, that there in the fourth quarter, I begged people to watch the first quarter of Rochester Halifax this weekend and the fourth quarter of Vegas Colorado. Because both those quarters and both those games showed you all you need to know. Alex Bouquet was making awesome breakaway saves. And every time Vegas had a chance on offense, Dylan Ward was creating new ways to do a human origami, and I hope that's not a sexual reference. He looked
oh my God.
Classic Dylan Ward once again. Like 6'9". Get out of here. I'm in a new one. It's incredible, dude. It's absolutely incredible. It's just all right. Finally, I kind of like the inflation part of this again because this will be a season-long appreciation for this character. My winner for Mike's Lunchbox is Aiden Walsh. I don't think Calgary would be as promising right now if their goaltending sucked. Like, I love Hartley and Hutchcraft, but if there was Calgary, I don't think we would feel good about Calgary right now. I feel like Aiden Walsh has made us have an extra layer of security and safety, and that's why I think Aiden Walsh deserves his credit just one last time because they suck. But next year they might not. He might still be there. So
that's a good choice. That's a good choice. I think you are right. And just to build off with that point about Walsh is the fact that why you give that lunchbox. He also too is a grinder. He has that hard work mentality. How many times in a game have you seen where Walsh kind of starts out slow or lets in a couple of weak ones, but then he locks right back in and shuts the door?
Some guys fold. I don't know what, but they fold.
He doesn't, man. He's got such confidence, like he can bounce back from whatever.
Correct. Thank you, Pat. We'll see you next time. Great call with you and Colin and the crew and Ashley Docking. You all look great, but
thank you.
I'm tired of your. I think other people need to step up for once. All right, how's that? But thank you, Pat, and thank you for your time.
Listen, I gave everyone 2 weeks while I was sitting on the couch wearing sweatpants and a hoodie,
and socks. Hopefully,
hopefully, yeah. There will be socks this week, Mike. Don't worry. It'll be a great fit, but I can promise you there will be socks.
What's your game?
We're in Ottawa this weekend, back in the nation's capital, Toronto and Ottawa. Friday night, TSN game of the week. And then after that, one more regular season game, and we'll be back in Halifax. Hey, look who it is!
Unmute yourself.
Seeing
I
we go. That's more
he didn't know I was going to bring him on, but I thought that was a perfect segue to Troy. Like,
that was a good segue. Absolutely.
100%, Troy.
But Troy went backstage one more time, and I'm going to say send off to you, Pat. We'll go to commercial. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you. Is that the clause? Did I get it right?
It's whatever. Yeah, whatever. Thank you, Pat. Oh, man. Fresh Fit's back-to-back champion right there, the media. When we come back, we will bring back on Troy, and this time he'll be more prepared. All right, folks, you're watching Daily Dive. Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to North American Talk Radio, the all-new talk radio station featuring sports, movies, politics, mental health, and more. Check us out at natalkradio.com and subscribe today. Buy event tickets straight from our website to help the cause and get tickets to your favorite events for less. That's natalkradio.com. Thanks for listening. You're listening to North American Talk Radio, the all-new talk radio station featuring sports, movies, politics, mental health, and more. Check us out at natalkradio.com and subscribe today. Buy event tickets straight from our website to help the cause and get tickets to your favorite events for less. That's natalkradio.com. Thanks for listening.
Welcome back to Daily Dive. I'm your host, Michael Karvelis. We just talked to Pat Gregoire about the overreactions for Week 19. We appreciate you for watching that segment. Stay tuned for my 3 stars of the weekend. But first, we're about to bring in a man who is known as I call him the Jeff Teat Take guy. It's kind of unfair. But let's bring in Troy from Ottawa. How you been, sir?
I'm doing good, Michael. How are we doing today?
I'm doing great. You're always representing, dude. Like, it's
Thank
amazing.
you so much. Yeah, absolutely. Always got to be representing for sure, especially because being a new franchise and everything, only in year 2, we got to do everything we can to be at least putting out the representation there. I'm often wearing usually the Black Bears cap as much as I can there when I'm out there.
Well,
yeah, and overall, it's been a fun year though, and a bit of a tumultuous time of late in the last 3 games though. But honestly, though, what a time.
I blame myself because I put out the 8-5 tweet a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, Jeff Teat's first time out 3 games over 500. Wow, that was mean.
Yeah.
It was sad though. But and by the way, you were just in Toronto, I believe, for the Rock game.
Yeah.
Before we get to that though, it's a great Canadian. I do want to ask you though about your Jeff Teat take, because that's the one where I'm and others were all like just probably captivated by you, because that's like it sounds like a hot take, but I mean I don't know hockey enough, but like I feel like you made a great point. Like I was gonna say earlier, like Matt Vince, what he's doing at his 40 whatever age
Absolutely.
it is probably better than what LeBron's doing, and I love LeBron James. We got to give these NLL athletes credit where they're due. What is your take on Jeff Teat, and how long have you had that take?
For the Jeff Teat take, honestly, I've had that take going back to last year there, I would say in year 1, because I as much as Brady Tkachuk is definitely a big name, Tim Stützle and Jake Sanderson, Thomas Chabot, and those guys on the Senators, of course. And plus the Charge have had a lot of success as well, too, on the ice as well. Going back to the Walter Cup final last year there in the PWHL. So there's those factors to consider and such there. And honestly, I just find if you look, and plus I had the pleasure of going to Edmonton for a preseason game for the Oilers back in the preseason last year. Sadly, no Connor McDavid, unfortunately, that night, but I have seen him at the CTC in Ottawa, though. So for what I see in Jeff Teat, though, I see the same thing as I saw in Connor McDavid with a lacrosse stick, though, is kind
the
of
magic.
The magic, exactly. Yeah. The magic man, somebody who could just turn a nothing burger situation into just something, and then bam, the next thing you know, he's on a heater on you.
I think the heaters from Jeff Teat, like the only person I've seen come close to that, or maybe he mimics, is Dane. So Dane Doby is before my NLL fandom time. But like, there was a couple of games last year where he just like took over. Like, what? Hold on a minute. This seems impossible. And then you add the fact that this year he's added the back. Like, I don't know if you saw it last year, but I know this year the stats have backed up. When they turn the ball over, he's still sprinting back.
He is. He's
and
still
when he's playing
back.
both
Absolutely.
sides, that's insane.
He is, and the fact that he's able to play both sides effectively at times there on the O to D transition there, he's absolutely phenomenal for being able to put up some of that out there. And at the same time, too, though, of late, the one thing that has been a little bit of a killer I find over this 3-game losing streak, though, is the two guys in particular that I've been noticing that have kind of done a little bit of an MIA act outside of Jeff Teat, unfortunately, with some of his lesser numbers, Riley O'Connor and Connor Kieran. I just would love to see some more from those two guys in particular there, because I've just not seen very much from them over these 3 games in there. And yeah,
they're the glue. When you have a Rob Hellier and a Jeff Teat, just ask Dean and Josh. Yeah. Isn't it nice to have a Kyle Buchanan and Ian McKay? Like, absolutely. Not saying those guys are on those guys' level, but like, you need more from others. When Batman has his Robin, there still needs to be some henchmen in the 5-on-5 game.
Absolutely. You needed just a little bit more of that. And I felt for those on this 3-game skid that the team's on right now, that was kind of just the one thing that they were missing, was just a little bit more jam and such there, at least with respect to them. And at the same time, they've been holding on to the ball too long, and then you take these perimeter shots near the end there and get nothing of it, wild misses or just wasted possessions too as well. So definitely some things to work on though, hopefully, and in quick time though, against Toronto coming up though, of course.
Right. No big deal. I'm a big fan of Connor Fields in Rochester.
Yep.
And yes, he's more naturally talented with the stick in his hand, but they play similarly for like they both are great passers. They both can score at will. But having a Kyle Waters or a Blaze River now, whoever crashed before Connor is getting a big kick. I believe the Colorado game against Las Vegas, this player was Casper, I think the Colorado just kept on crashing that side, leaving Andrew Q and Will Malcolm wide open. Like, you need Connor Kieran and Riley O'Connor. They called Riley O'Connor the Teat Whisperer. That's what Pat Gregoire called him. I feel like that's a perfect.
What was that he called him again?
The Teat Whisperer.
The Teat Whisperer, yeah, absolutely. We need a little bit of that going there, because honestly, I do feel like that those, just whether it's Kieran and whether it is O'Connor, one of those two guys, anybody at this point, honestly, as you said, anybody. We just need to find something here at this point.
I was going to mention Callum Jones next, but is Callum in the top 5? Because that dude's a man. He is. The word that comes to mind for me is fearless, bro.
Oh, he is fearless. He is fearless, and at the same time, too, Captain had a great interview there last game there at the end of it there. That was bummer he couldn't get his question in, but in the end, it poetically worked out perfectly for him there, not having the question. And in the end, he just gave you that perfect soundbite to finish it off there. And I was going to throw this out there for you there, because I know you're a big Jonesy fan there. And so we had our Marvel auction for, of course, I may or may not have won Callum Jones shorts on the auction.
Let's go, dude. One thing about Callum Jones that like stands out. First of all, though, he is so nice when you see his interviews.
Absolutely.
I don't know how he turns that character into whoever the hell's on the field, but it's impressive. Like, he'll take your favorite player and sit him down. Like, there was a play where him and I think it was not Marini, but him and Noseworthy like sat down. I think it was Curtis Dixon in that Vancouver game.
Yeah, the Vancouver game, yes.
I was like, oh my God. Like, that was brutal.
That was a brutal hit. I wasn't in the building for that one there. I was
Right.
out of town for that one, but oh my goodness. I remember seeing that one on TV, and that was a good hit there, but I know it's really
like just
Jonesy on
here's it's like sometimes and you should have respect for like I want to say elders, but like for the veterans. And I feel like Callum Jones, like, hey, like he's not. Some guys I can see like how they could be like scared to do that to a bigger player, but he feels like he belongs in the league.
Absolutely.
And
What was
amazing.
that? Oh yeah, absolutely. The stuff that Jonesy's able to put up and such there with this team, and the numbers he's put on, the caused turnovers, especially this year, that are 30 caused turnovers, almost double the next best guys among your contenders in Defensive Player of the Year rankings. And honestly, like Jonesy, as you said, and just the numbers back it up, he's got himself a very good shot at the trophy this year.
I love it. He probably does care in hindsight, but who knows?
Yeah.
I think like subconsciously they care about he wants to win the whole thing.
Oh, absolutely. These guys are hungry to get that first chance at the playoffs there.
Correct.
Hopefully so.
Before we get to the Rock game,
Yeah.
There's a team in Oshawa as well. How far is that from you? I know that's how you originally met Captain on January 3rd.
Yeah.
Tell me how far away that is from you, and how cool is it having just another close enough team for you?
So for the closest, the Oshawa is the closest geographically to us of all the teams there. So It's about a 4-hour drive or so, give or take, I'd say, from where I live. And I live kind of in the rural east part of Ottawa there. So it's a bit of a trek for me to get out there, even just to the Canadian Tire Center in Canada. It's about 60 kilometers on its own. And then I would say just out to Oshawa, it's about, on a good day, I'd say about 4 hours. If you got snow factored in, tack on another hour easily.
What is Ottawa?
Ottawa is a bit closer to Montreal, I would say, but we're kind of sandwiched in a bit of a triangle between Toronto and Montreal there, I would say.
Is it a 4-hour drive or is it a bit closer?
About 4 hours to Oshawa, I'd say. But if it's heading to Hamilton, though, for the Rock, though, and where I am here in Mississauga here, as for today, it's about, I'd say, maybe 5 hours or so, give or take, maybe 5.5.
So Black Bears will be 5 hours too?
Oh yeah, at least 5 hours to and from there easily, and it's a good trek there. I know, as you mentioned, there was some of the relocation cities there. There was that part of me that was hoping for Montreal, and for one reason, though, so I could get to have that Ottawa-Montreal rivalry sparked up there. Because one of my 4 friends that I managed to bring to their first ever NLL game this season was somebody from Montreal as well. So,
y'all would have a little friendship or a frenemies brewing there.
Absolutely, it would be a great rivalry between Ottawa and Montreal. There, it's just about the same levels of intensity as the Battle of Ontario, I'd say, but definitely
Brandon O'Neill versus Jeff Teat would do numbers.
Oh my gosh, Brendan O'Neill up there would be definitely a marketable star for them. And Place Bell is the right size venue for them too, because it's a bit under 10,000. It's a perfect number for a team. It's
Correct.
Perfect.
Let's get to that Rock game now.
Yes.
How was your experience? I know Captain has talked about like he thought it was a nicer barn. I know on TV, some people talk about the lighting and even in arena too. How did you like your experience in low scoring, but a very fun defensive battle?
So I've had the benefit of actually getting 3 games in this season at the Coliseum this season there, since my significant other is a season seat member for the Rock. So I had the chance to go to home opener, of course, our fan appreciation night this past weekend, and as well as our Battle of Ontario game on January 31st.
Love it. What did you see in this game that you liked? Are the Rock a championship team?
The Rock, I think, honestly, they're kind of I think they're a team heading in the right direction. They got a lot of good things going there. The rookies in Kurtz and Hiltz there, these are sensational guys, and they are fun to watch. And I've been fortunate as a fan of another team to be able to say that I've gotten to watch the 2 of the 3 rookies of the year 3 times already, and I'll get luckily a 4th one in. But honestly, like, this has been a treat to watch those guys. And Kirst in that game and Hiltz, they were just fantastic.
There were 2 plays that I clipped. One of them is Origlieri does an inadvertent, like he loses the ball, and CJ Kirst, while being dragged down by Steenhouse, puts it in. Like, what a weapon that dude is.
He's just everything that this guy's able to do. And it doesn't matter where he is on the floor. He is a threat in any pot he plays there. And he's not the smallest guy. He's not the biggest guy. But at the same time, though, my goodness, he has got some excellent, just an artist at work. And for a rookie,
he's kind of like if a number one pick, like in the NBA or the NFL, worked like the 7th round draft pick.
Absolutely.
It's unbelievable. Like, he should not have that good of a work ethic at this when he's the number one pick, dude.
Oh, yeah. That work ethic of his is amazing there, too. And as well, definitely honorable mentions over to Sam English there for his efforts in this one. He was an absolute monster in this game from on the defensive end there with 3 caused turnovers and a dozen loose balls there, or by my count there. So, yeah, it was a heck of a performance from him there and keeping San Diego to the perimeter there, because I had the pleasure of seeing San Diego in the Black Bears season opener and this one. And unfortunately, I got to give some bagels to Trey LeClaire there for putting up zeros on the score sheet there, because it was a day and night performance versus his Ottawa game where I just pulled it up before I came on there. He had 9 points in our game, 5 goals and 4 assists, just absolutely demolished us that game. And then this game, he's just completely ghosted it on offense there. And yeah,
he did have the one wicked outside shot, but I mean, that thing had no business going in the net. That was nice.
Oh yeah.
I want to give love to Owen Hiltz, who just like literally I forgot who it was who had a breakaway. I think it was Danny Logan had a breakaway. Hiltz just tracks him down. I'm like, dude, like he caught up to him. Like, oh, that was nice. I got to ask you about Latrell Harris, though. Seeing him in person, does he look like an NFL player to you?
The guy, he definitely has the look of an NFL player. I would say so too. He is a freight train of a guy, though. Just looking at him and such, though, he is definitely built like somebody you'd want on your team there. And I will say Latrell is definitely somebody who I'd want on my team there, and definitely a favorite there of my significant other as well, too.
You know, if they put friend of the program too, if the Rock have to get rid of some defensive pieces, adding Latrell to a tandem with Callum Jones and Jeff Teague would talk about ticket sales. Like, let's get some more in there, dude.
Absolutely, the ticket sales for that, and well, plus we do have the benefit of Oshawa's pick though, at least in the upcoming draft. So we at least have a chance on the draft side to maybe do something with that in the offseason. So
they need to lose to Calgary next week, though. That'll be nice for y'all.
Yeah, they need to lose to Calgary next week. Yeah.
Again, so Ottawa Black Bears, you guys play the Toronto Rock, like you said, you're going to that game.
Yep.
And then at Halifax, that which we talked to Pat might be a win and in thing.
Yes.
How confident, like a scale of 1 to 10 are you? And like realistically speaking, and tell me the season's like, what are the vibes right now for you, man?
I'd say the vibes right now, definitely a bit of a nervous-ish vibe for certain, though. I'd say for me, I was kind of at the point of hitting the panic button after the Georgia game there, because at the end of the day, I was like, you guys, like, it's a bit of a weird reversal of a year ago where we were 5-8, and then we kind of had a bit of a late surge there to nearly climb back into it in the second last week, but too little too late. But this year, though, definitely it's been a little bit more uneasy for sure, but also at the same time with this group of guys having the lack of the postseason experience too, doesn't make it easy. But on a scale of 1 to 10, I definitely have to go with at least a 7.
I like that. 7 feels like it's nervous.
Definitely. There's some nervousness, but I would say if we lose to Toronto, though, that is easily right up to a 10 or an 11.
Honey, hold me.
Oh, yeah, hold me. Oh, hold me back.
I'm dead. I had just like with those games, like just going from 8-5 to 8-8, it's just like it's heartbreaking. You don't want it to happen. Yeah. But I told Pat, like with the Halifax game, if it comes down to that, in my head, I think Halifax might be better. But in my heart, I've seen Ottawa fight through and just have chemistry, so I can't tell.
For the chemistry sides of things, it's felt like almost like an ungluing of the chemistry at times. It felt like in a weird way, because at time, because the offense was showing a lot more flashes of brilliance there early on there, and there were in spurts there, especially with the fourth quarter spurts there and those comeback games. But since then, though, the inconsistency that we've displayed throughout a lot of the season and such, there's kind of come back to bite us in the rear, unfortunately, up to this point here. And at the end of the day, though, there's only so many times you could keep pulling a comeback out of your rear and expect to win.
Yeah. Because some teams like Halifax and Calgary have had a bunch of close losses, and you guys have had a bunch of close wins.
Yes.
If those flip, are you as good as you think you are?
And exactly that. And I would also say there's been a few games where I felt like we played a bit down onto our competition in some ways a little bit there, especially the games that haunt me right now are the San Diego home opener, the Halifax game, and the Calgary game at home almost was a bit of a scare there, because that one I was like, that was the moment I was starting to show a bit of nervousness around this, because I was like, okay, this was a team that I felt, okay, we should have taken them out back behind the barn here, but
it's on the 11th, because that was when y'all got back to. Actually, that was the first of 4 wins in a row to get to 8-5.
That was to start the streak.
Correct. That's crazy. That's crazy. Thoughts on Dan McRae's first? I love Dan McRae from what I've seen.
For Dan McRae there, honestly, I've liked what I've seen out of him over Dan Ladouceur through year 2.
Agreed.
There. It's definitely been an improvement overall there. Like if we did have a little bit of a better consistent start out of Higgins out of the gate there, I'm sure that we probably would have had 1 or 2 more wins easily on.
I agree with that Higgins take, because he was so good last year.
Oh yeah, he was sensational. I did go to 4 games in year 1 last year there for the first year there. Wasn't a season seat member year 1, but honestly, Higgins was a big reason why we were in some of those games. But a couple of those games I went to, we got absolutely smoked.
Well,
particularly like Rochester, and Connor Fields was sensational that game.
Woo! And this year, like the win streak, he started stepping up again.
Yeah, the win streak, yeah, most definitely. He started to step it up again, Connor Fields there, and honestly, and at the same time too, one good takeaway from our game against Georgia though is at least we definitely had a lot more butts and seats against Georgia though, thankfully.
I love that. Yeah, 58-40. Was that the first game over 5?
That was our first game over 5 all season long, and our best attendance going back to game number 1 of season 1.
He's got stats.
It
was almost 900 more than your previous season high, which was also set the previous week. So there's some momentum.
Some good momentum. And to give you an example of this here from the Georgia game, just before the game, I chatted with a family of 3 that sat behind me at the game there. And they went to the comeback. That game literally turned them into 3 season seat members for next season, and coming to the Georgia game, of course, and Toronto.
I know I'm Jake from Anything Lax. He's a lot on TikTok. He said on TV when he watched the Rock and Bandits game when that big fight with Elijah Gash happened. Oh, yeah. So I can imagine the feels when that comeback does happen. Absolutely. And you're like, oh, this sport rocks. So it's like now you want to go through the dog days, because now you want to see those days again when this magic happens.
Oh, absolutely. Well, most definitely. And honestly, it's definitely been a good momentum booster as well, too. We've had a couple of local hits there as well, too, on the TSN 1200 there for Teat and Hellier there. That also has been one of my concerns, though, at times. Lack of local media coverage has definitely been a bit of a factor, I think, with respect to getting the team some recognition and such, too, there. And I did voice my views to the franchise directly and say, you're coming to a market that hasn't got a ton of experience or knowledge of the sport in a lot of ways there, because a lot of the zones within Zone 5 in Ontario here, essentially outside of Nepean and Gloucester, those are the only 2 local lacrosse programs that we have in the Ottawa area directly. So but we still have them scattered throughout with respect to some other areas in Zone 5, but at the same time, they're a little bit more on the grassroots sides of things, though, locally. Definitely would not hurt at the same time.
I think y'all social media team kills like from the Georgia United States version. I love your social, which I think does help.
Thank you.
What bothers me is not to get into this whole Ottawa fun team fundamentals here or team ownership here. I think one of the other worst kept secrets in the NLL is that they want the Senators to fully take over this team. Just like I told about early in the show with the Colorado Mammoth, the fact that Kroenke has their social medias interacting.
Yep.
I love that. So when the Senators fully, hopefully buy in, and I think a couple of playoff games helps that.
Absolutely, that would help. And at the same time, to the best of my knowledge, when the team had came here, there was at least agreements to access for resources on the Senators end there as well too. So
correct.
From what I would say, they've definitely at least taken advantage of some of those resources to their advantage.
They've done what they can. Yeah, I agree.
They've done what they can with what limitations they've had there. But I am in agreement with you. I could see, and I would love to see ultimately the Senators take control of the ship here, kind of like what Calgary had done many moons ago out there, because they were all under their own ownership for, I believe, the first 9 years of their existence. And then 2011 was when the Flames ownership took over. I
love that. And I think just the cross promotion. I think personally box cross is better than NHL or hockey in general. I appreciate hockey. Huh?
Dollar for dollar, I would agree. Absolutely.
And I appreciate hockey, but I know box lacrosse is like hockey, but then the other sports in the United States that I love, like football and basketball.
Basketball, yep, absolutely.
It combined every sport I loved into one. So I would love the fact that the hockey fans can get a taste of what you guys have. And the fact there is 1,500 last game is great. That's a big step.
That was a big step as well. And during the Calgary game, one of our good takeaways was we had a cross-promotional table set up with the Ottawa Charge promoting their Indigenous Heritage Night.
That's cool.
Because I find there's a lot of crossover with our audiences and their audiences as well, because definitely a bit more of a family-oriented audience there, given their suburban location to a certain extent as well. But we'll see, though, in time. But at the same time, too, with the Senators ultimately making the move to LeBreton Flats, though, that would definitely not hurt location-wise, I will say, to be in a more central location, though. But for our public transit, though, in Ottawa, I'll leave that for another day and another time, though.
I love that. One more thing I want to ask you, life on the line, Troy is going to lose everything or win everything. Who wins the NLL Finals this year?
Win or lose everything, all on the line this year. I am going to say, definitely in agreement with you and Pat Gregoire, the Buffalo Bandits for certain there.
Against the Ottawa Black Bears, though, right?
I hope it is the Black Bears. I hope it is the Black Bears, but in my heart, it's the Black Bears, but my head says the Vancouver Warriors.
Oh, wait, so you think they're going to bounce back? I like that.
Yeah, I think something tells me with Saskatchewan, with the recent stretch they've been on there, I'm feeling a little bit uncertain about them there.
I kept saying they peaked too early, even though I didn't want to say it too much. Oh, it sucks.
And I remember you had the same view about Colorado earlier in the season as well, too, worrying about them peaking too early. But now they've kind of gotten things a little bit somewhat more together in complete sense.
Love it. Thank you, Troy. We appreciate you. Thank you for being kind enough to give Captain the interview, and thank you for coming on this show. We look to have you on again, sir. Do we do
absolutely
the Paul dance thing?
Yep. Here we go. Claws up. That's how we do it.
Oh, you were on fire in that broadcast, dude. Unbelievable.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And my friend Lisa, who was with me on that occasion there, she ended up having a blast there with respect to her first experience there and such, and she got the full experience there as well too. And a shout out as well too to Colin Vant, my fellow super fan as well too. That man deserves his flowers as a day oneer.
I love that. Thank you, Troy. We'll see you next time, and you have a great rest of your week, man.
Thank you for having me, Michael, and have yourself a great rest of the day. Take care.
Love that. Troy! Wow, listen, man. That dude is a weapon. What did Captain call him? He called him a riot. I haven't heard that term. He's a riot. Unbelievable. Let's go and give our 3 stars now. One of them is not Troy, but it was close. Our 3rd star of the week, before we get out here, I'm going with Josh Byrne. Had 4 goals, 3 primary assists, 5 loose balls, and a caused turnover in Buffalo's win over the Vancouver Warriors. Number 2 star, Will Malcolm. Now, TFL's going to give this guy the 1st star, but he had 5 goals, 1 primary assist, 6 loose balls. My 1st star, though, is going to Jake Withers. Withers had 2 goals, 3 primary assists, 2 blocks, a caused turnover, 12 loose balls, and 18 of 28 face-off victory against Nathan Kapp, who was very good in that game. It was Nathan Kapp. There you go. Jake Withers' first star of the week for me. I want to show you guys this this Callum Jones video. This is incredible.
Us on the back end, we got to be better. We turned the ball over too much. They pressed us. We prepared for it. It wasn't good enough.
Here it comes.
Ball. It's as simple as that. Just got 2 games left in the year. What's your mentality? Win final stretch. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.
Oh, come on! Thanks so much for tuning in, guys, at Daily Dive. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place, 1 o'clock Eastern, our brand new start time here on North American Talk Radio's YouTube channel. This has been Daily Dive. Bye.